Okay, Dale, welcome to Mastering You, man. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you on. I've been badgering you a little bit to try and get you on. And I'll tell you why, because we met probably, was it a couple of years ago now, briefly?
Roughly that.
You did an amazing job for my company, LPT, with some video work. And but then we sort of connected like you do, and I've since watched your journey, and it's been fantastic. It's been really inspirational, and I've been really intrigued to find out more. You know, whenever I see someone kind of go from one step to the next, I can see your success flourishing. I like to connect with those people and find out what you're doing, and also, obviously, you're doing some really impactful work. So, I mean, if you don't mind, Al, I'd love to get into a bit of your backstory and find out how did you get to being where you are today? What were the sort of big challenges along the way? And over to you, man.
Cool. First of all, absolute pleasure, my good sir. Thank you very kindly for having me. Appreciate that. Appreciate this. I think it's really cool that people are taking advantage of the fact that we're in lockdown, so we can connect with more people online, and it's really cool because you can get to impact more people with that. So my backstory, it's a long one. I'm going to see if I can give you the medium version, because the short version doesn't do it justice, but the long version will be here till Christmas. So it all began on a dark, stormy night. No. Okay, cool. So let's be real. Well, for me, I have a loving family, very supportive. Kind of, I would say I grew up with the mentality of I'm average. Throughout my journey of school life, I was bullied quite not very nicely, quite horrifically. So being made to eat spit burgers, the usual, being pushed in corridors, being tackled by the rugby team before I was allowed to have some dinner, that sort of stuff. It was a rather unpleasant behavior. And I'm not sure if you're aware of the stats. I think, don't quote me on this one, I think it's about the same. It's 84% of people that are bullied or have been bullied do become bullies. So 84%
of bullies. I didn't know that, no.
Yeah, it's a high stat, whether it be from school or home or teachers or whoever. I transformed beautifully into a moth of bullying behavior, not a beautiful butterfly. Only because I used it as a protection mechanism. I thought, you know what? Hey, I'm going to bully them first before they bully me. And it was just completely learnt behavior, and it worked. It worked. It was like a distance control thing, and it was really cool until it went into my professional life. I was bullied by a deputy head in school, and I was bullied in various relationships. And when I say bullied, I mean very controlling behavior, manipulative behavior. So much so I needed a huge event to happen in my life to give me a bit of a wake-up call to think, you know what, bro, what the fudge are you doing? Let's level up. And 9 times out of 10, human beings tend to level up when they go through pain. So aside from being bullied, I went through a various amount of pain over the course of 6 months. Now, it all began when I lost my job. I created a refocus unit for kids in schools to help kids with emotional difficulties thrive and tender to their foundation. As you know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, tend to the foundation level first, because no kid that's not being fed at home or neglected at home wants to learn about maths. They want to feel protected, and they want to feel safe and secure, and that wasn't being met at home. So I decided to create this. Anyway, it got disbanded, unfortunately, after two successful years, but it just got disbanded for some reason. I think it was budget. So I lost my job. That sucked massively. And then 2 weeks later, I had a car crash, which definitely not cricket. You don't want to have one of those, by the way, Matt. Not fun. And these things, if you leave them alone, if they're an entity, you can cope with them. It's fine. And every single person's story is relative to them. I'm not saying mine's worse or better than anyone else's. Just saying this is what happened to me, and it affected me in this way. So I then had a car crash, and then I found out that my girlfriend at the time, 5 years, was seeing copious amounts of other men behind my back through the entirety of the 5 years, which absolutely smashed my mojo to smithereens. I deep down, I sort of knew there was something misaligned, and I was putting up with it because I didn't think highly of myself. Because obviously, I went through the bullying phase when I was younger, which made me think, oh, this is normal behavior. Which
how long ago? How long ago was that? Some of those sort of experiences, Dale.
Those experiences were approximately 5 years ago, so
Right.
fairly recent-ish, I'd say, recent-ish.
Wow.
And that happened. So over the 5 years that she did what she was doing, it all came out when I found that there was like a hotel room experience of various other people. It wasn't a very pleasant memory, let's put it that way, but a very important lesson nevertheless. And then a month later, my mum had a heart attack, and it just felt like things were just coming on top of each other, and that hit me really hard, because out of all the women I've had in my life, she was the one that I trusted the most, and still do. And I just felt very abandoned and lost and really scared. So much so that I know you're going to want to punch me right now, but I invited the ex back into my life, which was very naughty and very silly. Hence, again, why I think it's normal behavior, bullying myself, though. This is normal behavior, putting up with it. This is fine. I lied and said I forgive her for me, which wasn't true. I did it because I was scared to be alone and pay for the mortgages by myself. So it all stemmed around fear for me in that regard. And over Christmas, I found out that she was messaging somebody else, and then she fell pregnant with somebody else's baby. Again, not a fun experience 4 months later after what we've been through. So that hurt a lot. And my dad always taught me, I didn't tell my dad what happened because I didn't want him to worry about me, as we do. And he said, well, no matter what you do, Dale, you've always got to do the right thing. And the right thing is always the hardest. And
wow,
I took
that's such a lesson, that one.
Yeah, it is a lesson. And I took her to the abortion clinic, even though it wasn't mine. And I just sat with her and made sure she was okay. Half of me was screaming at me, what are you doing, Dale? What? You're such a mug. You're a loser. What are you doing? And the other half was kind of knew that this was going to be the making of me, that I'm not attached to that behavior, and I can make sure that she's okay. Because to be honest, for her to do all what she did, of which I'm not going to explain, then there has to be some form of damage there in her life, because nobody's born like that. No one's born aggressive. No one's born angry. No one's born a cheat, as it were. It's all gets subjected onto them through learned behavior, experiences via parents, religion, society, whatever. And that happened, and that super hurt a lot. And
in the moment, though, that's hard to remember, right?
oh, it's one of the hardest things ever to remember and sustain and put in place and action in the moment, because there's nothing more than you want to do than to just react to our chimp impulses. And it's really tough to do. So then after that, I felt really low. Obviously, I felt really low. I felt really down, rather depressed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether I was on the right path. I couldn't trust anybody. People asked me if I was fine. I lied and said, yeah, totally fine. I'm good. I'm on point. I'm wicked. Lying to all and sundry. And I decided to get help. And that all initiated by a random video on YouTube by a guy called Tony Robbins. I'm sure you're familiar with him. He just popped up. And it was very strange. No need. I wasn't interested in that sort of thing. It was personal development. He popped up with his big, powerful, booming voice, and I felt like he was talking to me, and he kicked my ass. He really was just like, and I was like, oh, you mean I don't have to wallow in self-pity anymore? Fantastic, perfect. Okay, let's do something about it. So then I turned into more of a victor, or striving to a victor, as opposed to a victim. And it was a choice. So that helped. Yeah, I was speaking to a coach, and he worked with me for 12 weeks, and I just felt this newfound light switch inside my brain that just went doink, and oh my gosh, I can do this stuff. Oh my word, my mind works this way. What am I doing? What have I been doing for this length of time in my life? Oh my holy fudge! What the fudge pop have I been doing? And it was very enlightening, very, very cool. And I started to see the changes. I was going to the gym, more people were coming towards me, and I was speaking to people, etc. But there was one thing I really wanted to do, and that was to always go on a TV game show. I never even dreamt of doing something like that because I was a bit shy. I wanted to go on a TV show, so I applied for Ninja Warrior. Unfortunately, didn't get on, but ITV said, "Oh, we love your video there. Why don't you apply for this show instead?" So I did. It was called Cannonball, and it was a bit like Total Wipeout. It was hosted by Freddie Flintoff, Maya Jama, Frankie from the Saturdays, and a few other people. And I remember going through the phases and having the interview, and people loved it, and it was really cool, and my confidence was growing and growing and growing. And on the flight over there, I had three intentions. After learning with my coach, I had to think, what are my intentions? Okay, cool. So my three intentions are to have a ridiculous amount of fun, like a stupid amount of fun. Number two, to speak to a girl because they freak me out, and to have the courage to speak to a girl. And number three, to win, because my mum has always told me, you aim to win. It doesn't matter if you don't, as long as you go in there with every single thing you've got and you aim to win. Perfect. You go in there and
wise
do the best
parents
you can.
there, buddy.
I know, and you don't realize that at the time, do you? So you think because mum and dad's become white noise, don't they? So, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then we're going to bit older. Actually, do you know what? That lesson was pretty cool, and I'm going to use that. So I went in there, and with that mentality, I had a ridiculous amount of fun. And on the coach from the airport to the hotel, I thought, no one knows me here. I'm going to fake confidence. So I got my GoPro up, and I stood up in the middle of the bus in front of 50 people. I went, hey, everybody, what's going on? I'm here. My name's Dale. I've got my GoPro, and I'm just going to record everything that's going to happen. I hope you don't mind if you do. I'm really, really sorry. I'm doing it now. And I was just like saying, who's going to win? You're not going to win. I'm going to win. And we had a bit of banter, a bit of playfulness back and forth. And at that moment there, I was speaking, and it was almost as if I hit three of my intentions all in one shot.
Wow.
In one go, because it was very strange, because I said, oh, who wants to do some training or insanity with me on the beach? Not realizing it was set in Malta, by the way. So I flew from England to Malta. It was fantastic, not knowing that Malta didn't have any beaches. And there was a girl there, and she said, oh, I will. And I was just like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, guys, I'm going to see you. and then I sat down and I was talking to her, and she was great. She did CrossFit. She was very fit. She was very healthy, blonde hair, blue eyes. It was brilliant. It was, we had a lot in common, and it was like a firework relationship. It was so spontaneous. And already I felt like I'd won, because I thought, do you know what? I've already won. I don't care what happens to the result. I'm still going to do everything I possibly can to get that result, but I've already feel like I've won. And then the show continued. I went into the show. It was a lot of fun. There were some giant 3-story height slides. You had to shoot off and jump and get as far as you possibly can. And
nice.
there's other ones where
what show was this?
Cannonball.
Okay, I have to check
Cannonball,
it out.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's
it's still being
clips online.
Yeah, check it out, definitely. There's still they still run it on ITV now and again. And it was amazing, and I had so much fun. It was so great. It was so awesome. It was such a brilliant time. Everyone was so friendly. I was getting on with absolutely everybody. And then I was one of 3 people that made it into the final by streaming down the fastest. And the final consisted of swinging off a giant rope 3 houses high into the ocean with these giant big laser rings, and I had to land in the middle to get points. Wow. Round 1, I lost because I was cocky and arrogant, and I admit that, and you can see it on the video. And round 2, I was composed, and I won that round, but I was still in 2nd place. And then the final round, I just kept everything together, and I just swang and just really, and it was brilliant. I landed spot on directly in the middle. There was a big celebration, fireworks and flames were going off.
Amazing.
They played, the best thing was they played Jurassic Park music, and I love that music. And I smashed in the middle, and I won the whole show, and it was brilliant. It was so cool. And I remember flying back thinking, oh my gosh, I wasn't faking confidence. This was the real me coming out and blossoming. I got out my own way. I stopped listening to other people, and I did things for me, because it felt like the only decision that was for me. And since then, I decided to understand how I got there by understanding the psychology, going through neurolinguistic programming, cognitive behavioral therapy. Thankfully, I did psychology sport at university, so that helped too. And I thought, right, it's very important and easy building confident kids than it is to fix broken adults. And for goodness sake, I've been teaching for 10 years. I know kids off the back of my hand. I know how to talk to them. I know how to get the best result from them possible. I'm going to focus on this. So I really wanted to teach children confidence, the fundamentals of confidence, of growth, of self-belief, of self-esteem, of passion, of creation, ambition, all of these words that school, having been on both sides of the teacher's desk, know full well that they're not teaching. Not all schools. The majority of schools aren't teaching because there's no metric for it, unfortunately. And yeah, since that journey, I decided to write a book, which has turned into a #1 bestseller on Amazon, which is called
Amazing.
Raw Confidence: The 8 Warrior Paths to Success and Happiness That Don't Teach in Schools. Nice, rolls off the tongue nicely.
Yeah.
And
that got published last year, Dale, did it?
Last year, yeah, it got published last year, and you can get it on Amazon now. And it went as far as Hawaii. Someone in Hawaii bought it, so I was absolutely flabbergasted. One reason why I did that for was because I beat myself up because someone said, you should write a book. And I said, no, I'm dyslexic. I'm stupid. I'm a dumbass. I can't do that, which meant in my head now, oh, because I said I can't, that means I've got to do. So I did it, wrote it, published it, boom, out there. And no intention of it going to #1 status, but it did. And I was super proud of myself. Super proud of myself. And then earlier this year, I spoke in Parliament about the importance of mental health and confidence in schools. And I've been helping kids online, in person, on free programs online, speaking in San Diego and Chicago and Illinois on stage, helping as many kids out as I possibly can, as well as adults too.
Wow.
So it's been a whirlwind journey, bro.
Yeah. So just to go from, like you said, it was really only 5 years ago when, these challenges were hitting you one after the other. And then, to have a best-selling book, to launch a new business, be speaking at Parliament, to be able to do that all in 5 years, there's got to be a lot of lessons that, to be learned from that. One thing I wanted to ask, do you remember what it was that Tony Robbins said that struck your attention at the time?
Nice. You're the only person to ask me that, and that's really got me.
I'm always interested. I always try and dig deep to what. Always, like, when I've spoke to some people that have achieved some amazing transformations in their life, I always like to find out, like, what is that thing that just click? Like, what is that thing that just makes the difference? And because ultimately it always takes that first domino, doesn't it? It takes that first spark to light the fire, and everyone has a different spark, and it's not like there's one secret source, but I think often you can see there's like some themes, and some patterns.
Yeah, 100%.
I guess the main one is emotionally it hits you at the level that you're on,
Yeah, and I think it did. I think it gave me a reflection onto who I was being at the time and who I had the potential to be. And I think it was just him using the words victim, because I do say that a lot. And I think it was the fact that he just said, if you behave this way, you're behaving like a victim. If you behave this way, you're behaving as a winner, or something like that. It definitely, victims really sparked something inside my head just then. So it must have something to do with that. But I do want to find out, actually. I'm gonna check my history from 5 years ago.
and so then would you say that the next big catalyst to your kind of like progress was the game show? That sounds like that was a huge turning point.
It really was. It really was, because it was. I faced a lot of scary demons, all of which lived inside of me, and it was very. I didn't say this, but I was being interviewed on the show, and the producers were interviewing me, and they said, "Oh, who's going to win, Dale?" And I said, "I am." And they were like, "That's a bit arrogant." It's not arrogant. It's belief. Arrogance is putting somebody else down. I know that I'm going to win this show. And that was it. I didn't say anything else. I just knew I was going to win. And it was really, I just, oh, Matt, I can't explain it. It's unexplainable how I just knew that I was going to win. And that, of me doing that, it was almost as if I didn't really react. I was excited and I was happy, but it was almost as if, like, I went through the mentality of, well, I knew I was going to win anyway, which could come across as arrogant. But that wasn't my intentions. It was just that I said I was, and I did. So,
well, I
done,
suppose
achieved.
I suppose that reinforces the power of doing things like what the coaches like us talk about, which is setting intentions, visualization.
Visualization.
Those types of practices where you're visualizing the outcome already. People hear of those ideas, but often won't actually practice them or think that that's the stuff that some people do. But you clearly were sort of already doing that, maybe even unconsciously.
Yeah, I agree. I think I definitely was. It was amazing, nevertheless. So I thought, how can I show the world this?
Cool. So I'd like to get to like your work. So you launched the Young Life Warrior Project just a few months ago, right?
Yes, I did. You do that. You have been watching me, my good
Well,
sir.
I've been doing a little bit of research. So and I understand that your kind of content and what you deliver is a combination of helping both parents, build emotional and mental resilience and confidence within their children, as well as help children themselves. I guess you have the not challenge, but you're trying to talk on both different levels, right?
100%. It's to get them to sing from the same hymn sheet. To get them to understand each other. And people may think, "Oh, Dale, you're not a parent, so how do you know?" So you're dead right. I'm not a parent, but I know how to coach extremely well, and I know the psychology of you, and I know the psychology of them. So let's jump on the same page and understand each other and get the best results out of each other, because we need to remember that we're not young versus old or woman versus man. We're a unit. We're a team, and we need to make sure that we respect each other. First of all, respect ourselves and communicate in a desirable way where it can be better understood by every single member of the family unit.
Nice. Regarding mental, let's not say mental health, but just confidence, or just mental health, mental resilience, all of those traits that we'd like to have. What would you say are the general patterns in terms of the challenges that both parents and children have? Do they generally overlap?
There is a massive reflection, I would say over 85% of my clientele, there is a massive reflection of an adult in the child and the child in the adult. They tend to have the same challenges.
Yeah.
And people think, whoa, really? Oh my gosh. And I'm thinking, yes, it's obvious. Your cultural architect, your mummy and daddy, are raising you. Mummy and daddy, you've raised this person to be a mini reflection of you, not on purpose, but in the way that you deemed right, in the way that you were taught when you were younger. So it's just echoing what's happened in the past. So of course, one child might have overconfidence, or one child might have shyness or introverted behavior because you have. However, that being said, bit of an FYI, children will tend to either reject or neglect if both parents are the same. So for example, if both parents are I hate the labels, but we're just going to do it for argument's sake. Introverted. If both parents are introverted, whatever that on earth that means on the scale, then the likelihood is that your children will be or elicit introverted behavior. Whereas if there's one or the other, they tend to have a bit of a choice in between, but they go for the extremes when they're learning. So some kids can. So for example, with me, my mum and dad have been happily married for over 46 years. And they are my role models in regard to that, because that is such an impressive feat. And I'm very proud of them. My brother is married to his partner now and has been for, oh gosh, I'm going to be told off 9 years, I think. And I'm still floating around in the abyss over here. If we're talking about that, so there's many different paradigms in a relationship. There's many different paradigms in life, business, health, wealth, success, women, boys, whatever. We tend to accept or reject our parents their philosophy. So if I was to be like my mum and dad, then I should be married by now with 2 kids. I should be. I'm not. I unconsciously chose to reject that, whereas my brother hasn't. And it could be the same with shyness or overconfident. And I think that's great, because it's giving kids more of an input into who they can be when they're older. I wouldn't want them to follow just one blueprint of how to be a human. I want them to follow their own blueprint that they create themselves.
Yeah.
So in regard to confidence, I've seen a lot of this, where the problem or the challenge reflects what the parent went through in their life. And it's really profound, actually, when I was speaking to a parent recently, and the daughter just kind of quit too easily, didn't continue with the task or whatever it may have been. So a maths test or quitting dance school, whatever. And we did a really cool balancing nail challenge, which is so annoying. Oh my gosh, Matt, so annoying. And we did a bit of fun with Jenga, who could win. But I wasn't testing their balancing skills or hand-eye coordination. I was testing their resilience and perseverance to see who quit first. And the mom didn't want to do it. Ding, 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 ding. What's going on there? And then I spoke to the child, and I made sure the mum was present the whole time. I was speaking to the child. I was doing this, and this. Right, let's go and do this. We're going to do this fun assault course. Ready, steady, go. Now do it this one. Let's go. Come back. Okay, do this. Because I like to do body tasks and brain tasks. Yeah. So work on their physicality as well as their psychology. It's vital, absolutely vital. And it's very successful.
I wanted to talk to you about that, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yes. And the mom sent me a message saying, "Oh, I think I think I learned a lot today." And I was just like, "Oh, really?" Knowing full well exactly what I was doing. And I said, "Oh, please tell me, what did you learn?" I said, "Oh, I learned about quitting, about this, about resilience and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, that's really awesome. Do you know what would be really cool?" Because I think she might have been a bit resistant. So, do you know what would be really cool? Let's do some homework for you. I've given homework to the child. Let's do some homework for you. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to do A, B, and C. And it's just to encourage perseverance, resilience, that strive to just keep on going forward, as opposed to judging ourselves on the failure, because the mom thought failure was wrong and failure is bad. And it's not. Not failing is the worst thing in the entire world, because it shows you're not living, you're just existing on this planet. So yeah, I would say 85% of the time it's like a reflection. The other 15 would be peer and society, through bullying or something like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so you touched on the idea of like when your methodologies is the combination of body and brain, and so I'd love to get your kind of input on this, because this is something I've been battling with a lot with my thoughts on this whole topic of mental health, which I think's great, because I think mental health as a broad thing definitely deserves more awareness. And obviously in recent years it's been that's the way things have gone. That's fantastic. However, I've got a bit of an issue with labels, like I think you mentioned earlier, like labels. And I think the problem with just labeling something like a mental health issue or an XYZ issue is it really good at saying what the issue is, but not so obvious to what the actual practice to improve that issue is. Do you know what I'm saying? So, someone that maybe needs to lose some weight or has some health problem, you don't get people sort of saying, "Oh, we've just got physical health problems." Like in the same way, mental health problems. People will be more specific often, and you don't really get the term physical health problem is branded about like mental health, because people will say, "Oh, he's got type 2 diabetes, or he's got he's got obesity, and that needs to be addressed." And I kind of feel like the issue with just branding something as mental health, is the disparity between the brain and the body. I mean, and as you know, because I know your background is in fitness and personal training as well, you know just how much of an impact the whole body has on the brain. And just from a hormonal point of view, from a biological point of view, many of what's labeled as mental health problems can often be body problems. And so what's your thinking around all of that kind of mad ramble I've just gone on?
That was a big ramble, bro. I love a ramble. I really do. I love a ramble in the morning. Okay, let's diagnose that, shall we? Okay, so first of all,
try.
I agree. I agree with that. There's a massive effect that the brain has on the body and vice versa. Very, very important to recognize this, because if one of them is out of sync, it has an effect on the other, and then we tend to go into self-sabotage. Depending on where the trigger point is, if somebody is, air quotes, overweight, deemed by society, whatever, then are they truly accepting themselves? Do they like themselves because they are like this? Do they like the way they look? Unfortunately, we're in a society now where it's very visual. I mean, if you look at all the social media, we want to look a certain way, which is great for people, but I'd like to encourage people to stick to their own guns and their own relative success. My success is different to yours and different to Margaret's down the street. I believe that there needs to be a belief in self first, to know that something is achievable, as long as you don't stop and you just keep on going forward and forward and forward, and learning about you on the way, and failing like an absolute loser as much as possible. I strive to be a loser. I failed loads today already, absolutely loads today, which is great. So I believe that, what if I was to say this? What if I was to say that how you look on the outside is a reflection of how you feel on the inside? Both are connected. There could be somebody that is overweight and as jolly as Father Christmas. Who knows? And that's great. I'm nowhere near judging them. If they want to improve the way they look, first of all, they need to improve the way they feel first. So then they give themselves that encouragement. And how I help kids do this, not the weight thing, because that's irrelevant. I'm just saying, if they want to get over a certain problem, how I encourage this is I say, okay, cool. So Charlie, who's your best friend? Oh, Max. No. Who's your best friend? Rachel? Nope. Who's your best friend? Bro, come on, who's your best friend? Oh, I know. My dad. Nope. My mom. No. And they're like, oh, I don't know. I said, your best friend is you. Because how often have you stuck up for your best friend or give them positive reinforcement? If they've put themselves down or someone's put them down, how much have you been there for them and say, don't listen to them or don't listen to you? You can't say that. No, you're wonderful. You're great. Imagine if you were saying that to you. Imagine if you were doing that to you. So when you finally become your own best friend, you can achieve anything you want to do, because you won't quit. You stick up for yourself, and you will not stand for negative, negligent-minded behavior from other people. And then you'll find your goals a lot more easy and achievable. To talk about the losing weight thing just there, I work with adult clients, as you know, and a lot of them, this is a key factor in adults wanting to, air quotes, lose weight. And I say to adults, and you probably already know this, I say, okay, cool. So let's say, I don't know, Martha, you want to lose weight, huh? Yeah, I do, Dad. I really want to lose weight. Okay, cool. We can talk about the what, the how, and the why. We can talk about all those things. But for now, I want you to answer me this question. What do you do when you lose something? What does a human being automatically do when they lose something? Oh, well, they want to find it again. So, oh, that's interesting. Have you ever lost something and desperately want to try and find it again? Yeah, I have. Okay, cool. So let's put this into the mix. What if you say that, oh, well, I really want to lose weight, and you do lose weight, but you find yourself creeping back to the old weight, air quotes. I say air quotes a lot today. Sorry about that.
That's right.
Then that's you unconsciously trying to find something that you've lost again. So here's what we do instead. We don't say, oh, I want to lose weight. We want to release weight, or we want to let go of weight. We want to confidently let go of weight. So I ban clients from saying losing weight. It's not that. It's I just want to let go of weight. I want to let it go. Our famous words of Elsa, one of my favorite movies, Frozen. I just want to let it go, let go, let go of the weight, lose the weight, and then they feel comfortable in doing that. I think that answers the beautiful, eloquently put ramble. Is there anything else I didn't
I
touch
think
on?
it does. I think it does. I think are there times when, on the surface, it seems like whether you're working with a child or a parent, it seems that there's a air quote mental health issue going on, that actually you can see that maybe getting moving is going to help. Maybe kind of just like doing something just to boost your mood is going to improve the
Massively.
situation as well. I mean, when does moving and exercise make things worse? It's like never.
Never. That's ridiculous. Absolutely no. Moving, no. Moving does not make things worse. So you could argue that someone's got an injury, but that's just an injury. And I find a lot of the time some people just have an excuse towards that. There's a lady in a coffee shop, very random. She had a really bad back, and I said, oh, "Okay, cool. So, what's that stopping you from doing?" "Oh, I can't run, I can't walk, I can't exercise properly." "So you walked over to me, doing a pretty good job there." So yeah, but it just hurts now and again if I sit for a long time. Okay, that's a sign you're sitting for a long time. And I said, "Where's the pain?" He said, "Oh, it's my lower." And I was like, "Cool. What out of 10? What is it?" "Oh, 8." So, whoa, that's pretty high. You should be in bed, girl. Geez. Okay. And I was very, very laissez-faire with the conversation, because I didn't want to increase any or strengthen the internal representation of her pain. So I said, "Okay, we're doing a mindset technique, which is really, really quick." I said, "Okay, cool. What color is it? What shape is it? What is it? Now take it all around your body. Do this, do that, I did really cool mindset technique. It lasted around about 8 minutes or so. And I said, "Okay, now give me a number between 1 and 10 of how you feel with that pain." And she was trying to find it. She was leaning this way and that way and backwards and forwards, and she was trying to find it. And I said, "So what is it? Just stop trying to find it, woman, and tell me what pain, what level it is." And she said, "It's a 3." And I went, "That's cool, right?" So, "No, it's not cool, because I don't understand. I don't get it." I said, "What you've done is, because you've had the pain in your back in that area for such a long time, you've built a relationship with it. And every single person's got a code and imprint inside their brain of everything that's happened in their life: anxiety, stress, men, women, sex, pain in the back, pain in the leg, gym, school, maths, everything. Every single person's got an internal representation of for it to make sense in the brain. Now, when that internal representation is stopping them from living and blocking their success, this is when we need to do something about it. And we need to decode, we need to understand the code, decode and recode what we do." So that's what I did with her. And she was absolutely amazed. The only reason why I think sometimes exercise is bad for some people is because they're too afraid to step out of their comfort zone and move forward. Because sometimes, and I found this quite recently, some people find they don't deserve to have that physique. Some people find they don't deserve to have that great body. I mean, goodness gracious me, if a mum was telling a 3-year-old all the way up until she was 33, "Oh gosh, you put on a bit of weight. You need to settle down. You look a bit big around there. Look at your cheeks; they're a bit chunky." Imagine you were just creating a belief of, "Oh, I am meant to be fat. I am meant to be fat. I am meant to be fat," inside this poor girl's head, which 9 times out of 10 stems from the mum's insecurities and jealousy.
What I really love about you. Sorry to interrupt, Darren. Carry on.
Carry on. All right. No, you go for it, did you?
What I love about what you like these techniques that you use is particularly the idea that you're getting kids on a journey of learning about how to be more self-aware. And on the journey, I don't really know if the word personal development or the term personal development is right, but rather than getting to the point in adulthood where we've got to reverse all of these bad experiences or patterns of behavior that we've built, you're getting them on the journey early on in their life to actually understand that this is actually fine. If I have a bad experience, that's a good thing. I mean, yes, it's not a nice thing in the moment, but it's certainly if you've got the capacity and capabilities to learn how to utilize it for your benefit, then you're only going to grow as a person. So I suppose one of the best questions I could ask you is as parents, like, and as a parent myself, what are some of the, well, firstly, maybe what are some of the things that we do wrong, or obviously you probably don't want to say that, call out parents, but what are some of the mistakes we sometimes make? But also, what are some of the things that we can do to empower kids more so they can develop the emotional and the confidence and the mental resilience that they need to go into later life?
Yeah, good. That's an absolutely epic question, and I'm going to answer it by saying, give them space to be. No. Well, you can do. That's fine. No, what I was going to say was, give them the space to express their emotions. Give them that space. Don't tear them down for being emotional in Tesco. Other supermarkets are available. Don't just because they're having a temper tantrum. You say, just stop it. You've been really, really, really. Are you doing that because you're afraid of what people will think of you and your parenting skills? If so, get over yourself. Stop being so arrogant and understand that your child is trying to communicate something with you right now. No, they're just being naughty. No, they're not. They're expressing an emotion of which they need help understanding, because they could be scared. They could be confused. They don't know what's going on. And if you don't give your child the time to listen and shut the hell up, and that space to be emotional, that space to listen, then they're going to continue to do that until they turn into a 25-year-old man, and they're going to throw the toys out the pram when their girlfriend leaves them, and they're going to get abusive or something like that. That was an extreme example. But there was a guy, I think you know Dr. Bruce Lipton, who diagnosed the imprint phase. So everything that a child learns to become an adult is in the imprint phase, which is from 0 to 7, roughly, give or take a few years. And he says that over 70% of what a child learns in this phase is limiting, negative, and sabotaging because of what the parent delivers. But I would like to completely highlight that parents have not been given a perfect blueprint of how to be the most perfectest parent in the world, what to say when your child does this, what to do when he or she does this. No, you've got this little bundle of flesh that you're expected to know how to nurture and grow and help thrive in this world, when you're there dealing with your own stuff, your health. And when I say health, I mean mental and physical. And you're supposed to look after this thing. I mean, what the fudge? That's scary as. And you will unconsciously deliver your anger, your stress, your insecurities, your sadness, but you'll also deliver your love and nurture and attention and passion and purpose towards this creature as well. So my advice to parents is, give yourself an effing break. Okay? You're doing everything you possibly can with everything you have available. I would say if you want to improve, then you need to be the architect of researching that yourself. We can point you and I can point parents in directions, can't we? We can say, oh, Dr. Steve Peters, Chimp Paradox, that's really good. The Silent Guides is a great book. This YouTube channel by a lady called Dr. Vanessa Lapointe, who's my friend in Canada, by the way, who's epic. So follow Dr. Vanessa. Then you will learn yourself. You will encourage yourself to learn and think, I'm going to try this, but I'm not going to be attached if it fails. In fact, I'm going to be happy when it fails, because it means that I'm actually trying to deliver something. And at the moment, I'm releasing, I don't know if you know, I'm releasing a brand that's been here before Young Life Warrior. Actually, it's called BADS, Be a Dedicated Someone. And that whole purpose of that is, it looks, I haven't shown you, have I? It looks like this. I don't know if you can see that, the writing, BADS.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Just there. And that's for Be a Dedicated Someone. We don't care what you do or what you're starting. We know that you're scared, but you're still going to be dedicated to it anyway. It could be relationship, business, body, money, job, holiday. It could be anything. Just got to be dedicated to yourself, and very importantly, parenting. So that's it's not a job. It's a purpose in this life. For goodness sake, you've just created this wonderful abundance of life. The chances of you being here are 1 in 400 trillion. That number is astonishing. So there's nothing special about you at all, mummy and daddy or children, because you're actually a miracle. You're a walking miracle. So give yourself a break, research yourself. We can guide you in regard to what's best that's worked for us. But just know that you are a miracle and you're doing everything you possibly can with everything you've got available. So be kind to yourself as well. Be kind. That's what I'm trying to say. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah, I think
Be
the
forgiving.
tip on allowing your child to like you say, express. So I think as parents, obviously, we like to just make things better as soon as possible, you know, and
True.
sometimes
True.
better isn't really clear. You know, in the moment it can feel like, you know, just stop crying, or
Yeah.
but ultimately, like you say, if they can express their emotions. I've noticed this with my little boy. He's 4, just turned 4, and his tantrums have just really calmed down because his speech has improved massively in the last 6 months.
Epic.
So you can
You know what that is for, don't you?
actually.
You know what that's for then, right? You know what? It's calmed down.
Yeah, because he can express himself.
Yeah.
With language.
How cool is that? How
Yeah.
cool is that? And this is why they say, I mean, goodness sake, Matt, terrible twos. First of all, that is such a horrific label. For God's sake, do one whoever created that one. Terrible twos. It's going to implant in parents' mind that, oh, two's coming up. They're going to be a little git. I'm going to hate them. No, they just haven't got the linguistics or the emotional capabilities to express themselves just yet. So they're going to be all over the place. And when they do grow up a little bit more, they can go through that.
Yeah. 100% agree, and I think it is like there is no, like you say, there is no rule book.
There's not.
But ultimately, if we can be the best role models we can be, then you know they're going to mirror that to a much larger extent than I think a lot of parents realise, right?
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. In fact, I don't think I know. I was on a live last night with another lady that was asking me the same thing, and I said, look, the most important lesson you can teach your child is self-belief. But you don't teach them by sitting down with a book about self-belief and reading it to them or doing the task. No. That's right. What you do is you first self-believe in you first. Okay. So you have self-belief first and echo that with what you're doing in your life, in your body, in your work, in your relationship, in yourself. When you can demonstrate, when you can outwardly demonstrate that you believe in yourself, your child will pick that up, not be insecure, start to appreciate themselves, and eventually become their own best friend and do anything in this world and fail and be okay with it, because you are being the cultural architect. You're being the role model that this kid deserves. So whenever you put yourself down, what I want you to do, if you call yourself an effing idiot, here's what I want you to do straight away. I want you to go to your kid and point to them and swear and call them an effing idiot. Do go and do that. And the parents will be like, Dale, I'm not going to do that. So, well, don't do it to yourself then, because that's essentially what you're doing. You're behaving in that way, which makes it okay, which makes them do that. So don't put yourself down. Think about, if you're going to put yourself down, put your kid down first and then put you down. And then would you do it? Absolutely not. You wouldn't dream of calling your child an effing idiot. You wouldn't dream about it. Well, any decent parent with any moral status wouldn't do that. Let me put it that way.
No, I totally agree. I think the one last, just for any parents like listening, you mentioned the chimp paradox, Steve Peters earlier.
Yes.
He wrote a book also for children, the children's version of the chimp paradox.
The hidden chimp.
Yeah. So I went through that with my little girl when she was about 5, and so it's a really cool book as well, because it has loads of, it's a workbook really, more than a book, and you work through it. But the interesting thing about that book, and the reason I mention it, is because yes, the book was good because it got her to understand the concept of your brain and why we think the thoughts that we have. But the best part of it has been the last year or so, when now and again we can have conversations around real life situations, and I can point her back to, she's got names for her chimp, because that's part of the book, is you have to create your own name. And I'll constantly remind her, that it's kicking off again. Oh yeah, right. And so to learn that at such an early age, I think is just amazing, and that's why I think
Sure.
that the work that you're doing is absolutely transformational. It should be in more schools, and they should be adding it to their syllabus, Dale. I'm sure that's on your list of missions.
Yeah, well, I was very fortunate to go to a school in the second lockdown, which is great. I'm in talks with doing a few more bits and bobs over here. The whole point of the Young Life Warrior project is to get businesses involved as well, so we can go into schools. In rugby alone, there's over 12,299 students, and we want to empower every single one by speaking to businesses locally that can either donate space, time, money, or product or whatever, just so we can have an impact on these people. Because if we shape these kids' lives now, they're going to be your employees. They're going to be your managers. Would you want the best manager possible? Let's shape them. And we know that the kids are going to see that. They're going to see, oh, look, I was at Hobbycraft. Hobbycraft came out. I like them. They're a really cool business. Boom. And also, it's just, if anything, it's amazing marketing for the company as well. I've managed to get Nike on board as well, so I'm in partnership with Nike too, which is amazing. So we're going to go in. I should really be wearing a Nike top, shouldn't I? Sorry, I pulled that one up. Yeah, and it's absolutely amazing, and it's so important to shape our young minds, to shape our future world. It really is. And I think you did right about the chimp paradox. It's wonderful. There's another book as well for parents. If you're thinking about becoming a parent, by the way, there's a great book called The Silent Guides, which is by the same author. Yeah, Silent Guides. It's great. Very, very good book. Yeah, amazing.
Well, Dale, I've taken enough of your time up, but listen, thanks so much for sharing. And what's the next big thing that people can follow you? Is it this new project that you have going on? Or
yeah,
where can
absolutely.
Follow you?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so they can follow me on Instagram. That's my big one, Dale Vincent Coaching. And they can, if there's any teachers listen to this or something and they think their school could do with it, then feel free to get in touch with me on Instagram, Dale Vincent Coaching, or on Facebook, which is Dale Hancock or Dale Vincent Coaching as well. I've also got a private page for the Young Life Warrior. As well as that, I've got Bad's Apparel Instagram page, which is the dedicated people. What's going to happen with that is when a child buys, or say a parent buys, it's for adults as well. It's for kids and it's for adults. I think it's only fair. They get taken to a special video series where it's like motivational, the whole purpose behind Bads and what I expect them to do when they've got this. Because when they've got that, it's about wearing. It's not about another t-shirt brand. It's about an empowerment brand of just wearing it to become the absolute, as what you've put there on there, mastering themselves, being dedicated to their own purpose on this planet. So yeah, Dale Vincent Coaching. You'll type it in, you'll find me.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks again, Dale. I'll put all the links in our show notes so people can find you super easy. And
wonderful, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I do. Sorry, buddy. I do have a free anxiety course for parents and kids. The parents have got 3 videos, which is all about the science, and the kids have got fun videos understanding anxiety and what it actually is.
Amazing. Amazing.
So
I think at the moment, I think that would. I think there's a lot of people be interested in.
Well, that's the whole purpose. I did it for free anyway because it's over lockdown too. So it's parents.younglifewarrior.com/parents. But I will send you the link properly. And all they've got to do is just fill in the questions. It gives them a big input of what level their child's on anxiety wise and what they can do about it. So when they take onto the free course, and it's free. I mean, it was 50 quid, but now it's free. It's all like anyone can go on it. It's all free.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Once again, thanks, Dale. And
thank you, buddy.
We'll maybe get you on another time. Take care.
That'd be awesome. Take care, buddy. See you later, mate.